Today we are making a homemade, obviously it's homemade if we're making it. Today we are making a chocolate maple mocha popsicle. Tell me that doesn't sound delicious. Summertime has arrived, and believe me, it definitely feels it around here because we have been experiencing a bit of a heat wave, and I'm talking very hot and very humid. Instead of being miserable though, I'm trying to make the most of it and come up with some fun summer activities to make the most of the season, because this season will be over before we know it, and before you know it, I'll be making autumn content, and then I'll be making Christmas content, and then we'll be summertime again, and it will just be like, what happened? Time happened. It's a roller coaster. As you know, here at Joyful Habits, we're all about adding just a touch of whimsy to every season, and whether it's your favorite season or your least favorite season, we're all about just celebrating the season and making the most of it and having fun. So I thought, what better way to beat the heat than with some fun ice cream treats? I'll be sharing 3 homemade popsicle recipes. Now, the other 2 recipes are going to be in future videos coming very soon, so make sure you have that notification bell on and you're keeping your eyes out. Also, if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. Pretty please. So without further ado, let the summertime fun begin. My name is Bethany, and this is Joyful Habits. Happy summertime, friends. I hope you have all been having a lovely summer so far and doing your best to make the most of these sunny days. As usual, I had to decorate the table to fit our theme because if I didn't, that wouldn't be any fun. I really enjoyed decorating the table for this one. I wanted to keep it minimal with just little touches of our theme. We'll be whisking everything together in a mixing bowl, and our first ingredient is coconut milk. Make sure it is full fat coconut milk because that is going to provide the creamy texture that we want. Now, I also had this can of coconut cream which I needed to use up, so I decided to use that mixed in with the coconut milk, thinking it would make the dessert more rich and creamy and help me not to waste food. However, this is optional and not in the original recipe, which, by the way, I will have the recipe in the description box below if you are interested. Our next ingredient is vanilla. I love using this vanilla paste instead of a traditional vanilla extract. I find it adds a deep and vibrant vanilla taste to my recipes, much more than if I used vanilla extract. But if all you have is extract, that will work too. Next ingredient is our maple syrup. I'm fortunate to live in an area where I can visit a maple farm in the springtime and stock up on fresh maple syrup to enjoy the rest of the year. However, if you can't visit a maple farm, that's fine. Most grocery stores will have maple syrup for you, but make sure that you find the real stuff and not that stuff made of corn syrup. True maple syrup is so much better, trust me. Next ingredient is chocolate syrup. Now, this is a homemade chocolate syrup that I made. It was very easy, took me 5 minutes and 2 ingredients. Store-bought chocolate syrup would work fine for this recipe, but if you're interested in making your own like I did, I'll have that recipe in the description as well. And now for the mocha aspect of our chocolate maple mocha popsicles. We are going to add instant espresso powder. This adds a really nice subtle coffee flavor and also brings out the chocolate flavor really nicely. Once we have all our ingredients, we'll just mix them until they're well combined. I started with a spoon, but then decided to use a whisk because I just wanted to make sure everything was really well incorporated. Now it is time to put the mixture into our popsicle molds. I really like these molds. They came with 2 packs of popsicle sticks and just work really well. Because they are lying flat instead of some of the other popsicle molds you see that are vertical, I find it makes it easier to decorate them and add little fun sprinkles or swirls. I also love the covers. They keep everything from spilling and prevent freezer burn. And the mold itself is very flexible, as you can see, and easy to get your popsicles out without damaging them once they're frozen. They're also non-stick and very easy to clean, so I'll have these linked in the description box if you're interested. Now, any popsicle mold will work for this, and even if you don't have a popsicle mold, don't worry because you can just fill small cups or small bowls, cover them with a little tin foil, and then push the popsicle stick through the middle of the tin foil into your mixture. And I've even seen it done without the tin foil. Some people just put it in the freezer till it's slightly hardened, but not too hard, and then they put the popsicle molds in, put them back in the freezer, and let them continue freezing. So whatever you have, just look around your kitchen and get creative. I did almost forget to place the molds onto a cutting board before filling them. This is a pro tip because it makes it so much easier for you to move the molds to the freezer without accidentally spilling anything. You might have also noticed that I forgot to put in the popsicle sticks. With these molds, you're supposed to place the popsicle sticks before you fill the molds. Luckily, I'd only filled one when I remembered, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Now I realize it would have been faster and more efficient to put my mixture into, say, a measuring cup with a spout and then pour the mixture into the molds. However, my measuring cup was currently in my fridge filled with a homemade dressing, and I did not feel like putting the dressing in another container and then cleaning the measuring cup. So since I wasn't in a hurry and I was just having fun, I decided I would just grab a spoon and ladle the mixture into the molds. Now I'm just filling these molds with the filling, but you could definitely embellish them by adding, additional chocolate swirls or sprinkles, some espresso powder, mini chocolate chips, cocoa powder. The possibilities are endless, so definitely get creative and have fun customizing them to your liking. Once our molds are filled, we just put the covers on and transfer to the freezer. I let these sit overnight to make sure they were frozen completely. It is now the next day and our popsicles are ready. I placed a piece of parchment paper down so I would have a place to put them once we dip them in the chocolate. Now, my original plan was to melt down some chocolate with a teaspoon of coconut oil and then dip the ice cream bars in that. However, I had a decent amount of that chocolate syrup left over and I didn't want it to go to waste, so I decided to use that instead. And it worked fine and it tasted really good, but I do think that melting down regular chocolate to dip the popsicles in would have created more of a hard chocolate shell, which I prefer. So when I make these again, I think I will keep the chocolate syrup for the filling and then use regular chocolate melted down to dip them in. I had to show some serious self-control to not eat one right now because I wanted to wait until they were completely done before trying one, and I had to make sure I was done filming before we started eating them. And now back in the freezer they go. I let them sit in the freezer for a couple hours. They probably could have gone a little longer, but I was anxious to finish this video and I also really wanted to try one. I laid out a new piece of parchment paper to display our finished Chocolate Maple Mocha Popsicles, and decided to have fun decorating a nice little array using the ingredients such as the espresso powder and drizzling some of that homemade chocolate syrup, a few coffee beans, some chocolate wafers, and then I also had some of these maple candies, which if you've never had a fresh maple candy, you should definitely try one. They are very good. And yeah, I just had fun playing with my food basically and making it look nice. Making yummy food and treats is always fun, but then decorating, setting the scene, and I like to have some lovely music playing in the background and really take my time. It just makes everything feel more whimsical and magical. And there we have it, our homemade Chocolate Maple Mocha Popsicles. I was a little stressed trying to finish filming all the shots and taking all the photos I needed before they melted. You might notice that some of the shots in the beginning, the popsicles look very frozen, while some of the shots later on, they are starting to melt everywhere. Of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're also in the middle of a heat wave, so that definitely didn't help because they were melting twice as fast. However, let me just say, I immediately tried one of these once I was finished filming, and they were very good. And I actually kind of liked that they were all melty, so when I had a second one on another day, I actually placed the popsicle in a bowl on the counter and let it soften slightly before eating it, and it was very good. If you are a fan of these flavors, I would definitely give this one a try. Very easy to make, not a lot of ingredients, and you'll have a delicious frozen treat or melting treat for you and your loved ones to enjoy on these hot summer days. Don't forget, I have 2 more fun, whimsical summer recipes coming in my next 2 videos, so make sure you are subscribed and have that notification bell on because I have saved the best for last and you won't want to miss it. And as always, friends, my name is Bethany, and this is Joyful Habits, where we daydream and add a touch of whimsy to the ordinary. I'll see you all very soon, and until then, keep smiling. Bye, friends. And I thought, what better way to beat the heat than with some fun... I almost said Christmas. What better way to beat the heat than with some fun Christmas treats? Let's try again.